Welcome to Good Burger Reviews. My name is John and I'm here to review a brand new 2025 movie, and that movie is Vicious.
Can I help you?
I don't know where
Ma'am, do you want to come in? Get out of the cold?
This movie was released directly to Paramount Plus. It is directed by Brian Bertino. It is starring Dakota Fanning, Catherine Hunter, and Devin Nakota. The basic premise is Polly receives a mysterious box that comes with instructions to place three things inside: something you need, something you hate, and something you love. What begins as a strange ritual quickly unravels into a waking nightmare as she becomes trapped in a terrifying world where reality bends and memory betrays. As time slips away, she must confront the darkness not just around her, but within her, before it consumes everything and everyone she's ever known. So this movie, I had started seeing pictures and thumbnails online of a movie that obviously was being reviewed by other reviewers, and I thought maybe it was time I give Vicious on Paramount Plus a chance. I knew that Dakota Fanning, who I've known as a child actress when she starred in Hide and Seek all the way back in 2005 with Robert De Niro, and then last year she was in Watchers, the M. Night Shyamalan, which one of my most disappointed lists from last year. And I thought, would this one be the same thing? So let's get into the good, the bad, and the ugly on Vicious. So starting off with the good, it's right in my favorite realm of horror, which is supernatural, spooky, kind of blending with witchcraft and curses. Kind of has a blend of all of that. And I feel like the premise of this movie is really good. I mean, someone shows up to her door, knocks, wiggles her way in, and leaves her with this black box. And then she comes to find out that the only way she's going to shake the curse that this black box is putting on her is by putting what the box needs in it. Something she loves, something she hates, and something she needs. Now she starts getting visions of, whether it be through like this little girl in her dreams or on the television or just in her head. It kind of gets a little confusing of how the visions are coming to her, but overall they're really creepy and really insane, and it's not always clear what this box really wants. Sometimes you have to read between the lines. Now there's lots of traditional bumps, spooks, jump scares, all that in this. There's some decent tension. I will say that Dakota Fanning's performance overall is decent. She does have in her repertoire many faces and many emotions that she wears and does quite well. And since she doesn't have too many people to bounce off of, it really falls on her.
Wake up. You won't wake up.
What if you're wrong? What will happen? I bet it's bad.
Now, I'll also say in the positives that the lady at the beginning who knocks on the door and gives Dakota Fanning the box was very creepy and added a lot of intrigue, mystery, and horror to the movie.
You are going to die tonight.
What are you talking about?
Unless you give it what it wants. Three things go inside. Something you need, something you hate, something you love.
So I guess that's what'll put me on the mix. So, I mean, in this one, I was kind of mixed about, like, it seemed like a lot of creepy stuff was happening, but then when the movie ended, it kind of got undone. Now, the way she broke the curse was by doing the same exact thing that the lady did at the beginning of the movie, would be to give the box to somebody else. And she does successfully do that. And then this will bring me to the negative. So I think the big negative is I was kind of saying that about a movie I reviewed last week called Other, where it was one person pretty much starring as the main protagonist, and there weren't too many side characters. Now, there were some side characters in this, but it seemed like mostly it was her mom on the phone, and she was on the phone the whole time with her. And then you have a couple other side characters, like the lady who brings her the box, the lady she gives the box to, plus her sister, brother-in-law, and niece are in this as well. But they all kind of have smaller roles. So that leads to a lot of like dialogue, or monologue really, for Dakota Fanning. And sometimes it gets a little bit sluggish in that part, because she's not always talking to someone. She's trying to figure out the box. She's getting frustrated. And then another thing that leaves me negative is, it goes from being a spooky into getting a little bit gory. I saw this in movies like, again, I think of Other, where it got a little gory, where the girl gets caught on the fence and, injures her finger. And this girl, it was the same thing. Part of something that needed to go in the box was her finger. And it was like she had to cut her finger off. And it was... Also saw something similar like this in Dangerous Animals, where Zephyr had to like cut or bite through her hand to get out of handcuffs. So sometimes it gets a little extreme with it, where it's like becomes gory and then somewhat body horror-ish. Now this, I wouldn't consider this movie a body horror, but that one scene was kind of really tiptoeing around in that area. And I guess the other thing that I'll put in the negatives is the movie is named Vicious. Now, I didn't know what the real connection to that word was. I mean, yes, this seemed like somewhat of a really tough curse. I don't know if I would really call it vicious. I mean, it was a lot of deception, mind-bending, a lot of supernatural type of spooks and scares, but like, I really thought if a movie was to be named Vicious, that maybe the main character would have been vicious, or the main antagonist character would have been vicious. So even though Dakota Fanning goes through an ordeal, it never felt like it was vicious. I mean, maybe tormented, maybe more of a torment. I don't know if this movie would have been better titled as Torment or Tormented. Or maybe more, I think a better title for this movie would have been based around the black box, the little black box. When you hear, I guess maybe when you hear the little black box, you think of, little black boxes in airplanes. But I mean, this little black box could have been its own thing. I mean, it definitely was its own thing. I did find that the black box, the idea of that curse was decent. There's only one other thing that I'm going to put in the negatives, where these characters are making dumb decisions, and I just think the amount of women in this movie who are home alone at night, who receive a knock on the door, who then proceed to open the door and allow a stranger into their home in the middle of the night. But that was the whole point behind this movie, so we can put this in a little bit of suspension of disbelief. So I'm going to get down to business on this one. I'm not going to go into too many spoilers. I feel like if you like these type of curses, haunted houses, demons, that type of stuff, it is worth a watch. It is on Paramount Plus. I am going to give it a basic burger, because even though I felt like it had some decent scares and spooks to it, I felt like the overall execution of the movie was slacking. And maybe that's more in the direction or the storytelling of the entire story, or maybe it does come down to just a little bit of my taste on how this story ended. But it is streaming on Paramount. Give it a check out. If you have Paramount, there's no harm in checking it out. Dakota Fanning is always good to watch. And like I said, she does carry most of the movie, the weight of it on her shoulders. And don't forget to stay scared when a creepy old lady knocks on your door at night and gives you a little black box that you've got to put 3 things into to break a curse.